Last week, initial findings from the 2020 census were released, providing population tools to plan for future needs in Kansas and our communities. The U.S. Census Bureau data will determine how much federal funding is returned to states and local communities over the next 10 years to provide for schools, transportation, healthcare, libraries, and other family support programs. Overall, Kansas experienced a 3% increase in population, now totaling more than 2.9 million people. This is good news, as it means we retain our Senate and House seats in Washington, D.C., ensuring Kansans are represented on important issues. The increase in state population also means that we should maintain or see a slight increase in funding from federal programs like Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, TANF, or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, and our highway funds. On the other hand, early findings also show 80 of our 105 counties saw a decrease in population. This means local cities and counties may receive less funding, and as a state, we may have to consider different approaches to support the future needs of Kansans when it comes to education, healthcare, and family support. Recent data shows the state has become more racially and ethnically diverse, and our urban counties are growing in population. Kansas saw a 27.5% increase in the Kansas Hispanic Latino population, and a 0.6% increase in the Kansas African American population. Several Southwest Kansas counties have majority Hispanic Latino populations, including 65.6% in Seward County, 57.4% in Ford County, 52.5% in Grant County, and 51.7% in Finney County. Urban counties also have significant racial and ethnic diversity, with African American and Latino populations making up nearly 25% of Sedgwick County and more than 53% of Wyandotte County. This census data reaffirms findings from a report that we commissioned in 2018 from the Kansas Health Institute, indicating that more Kansans are moving from rural to urban areas, and our population is becoming more diverse. This report also projects that these population trends will continue in future years, and that the Hispanic population will grow by nearly 287% by 2066. These census results are critically important for Kansas representation and to determine how boundary lines are drawn for local, state, and federal elected positions. It's not simply a mathematical equation to divide population groups into equal districts. It's about ensuring that areas fairly reflect communities living within that area. This process is called redistricting, and it's currently underway in Kansas. Census data was not available earlier this month when Kansas legislators held the first of several public redistricting meetings. Over the next few months, legislative district maps will be redrawn and eventually approved by the Kansas legislature during the 2022 legislative session. It's critical that this process is free of political influence or any attempts to divide areas based on political parties. The redistricting process works best when it is solely based on the needs of community members. In addition to redistricting, census data should be a powerful tool to encourage more diverse representation among elected positions at all levels. It's important for us to see elected leaders who look like us, understand our community needs, and represent our interests with local, state, and federal decisions. We've seen positive changes in recent years as more people of color and women have been elected. But if you look at your local school board, city council, county commission, and even the Kansas legislature and congressional delegation, we have to ask ourselves if they reflect the rich diversity of Kansas, particularly as our state becomes more diverse. Changing demographics in Kansas means that now, more than ever, we all need our voices to be heard. At the Kansas Health Foundation, we've been working over the past several years to build civic engagement through various efforts. We supported the statewide 2020 census initiative through a $500,000 grant to the League of Kansas Municipalities, working with many partners engaged in grassroots efforts to reach hard-to-count communities. KHF has also invested more than $6 million in integrated voter engagement, working with nonprofits across Kansas to encourage more people to get out and vote. We're also currently working with other partners to embolden underrepresented Kansans to serve on boards or run for elected office. Civic engagement is more than just filling out the census every 10 years or voting in presidential or gubernatorial elections. It's about knowing who your elected representatives are and ensuring they represent you and your community. It's about speaking up during redistricting public meetings to create fair maps and processes for Kansas. It's about stepping into public service by running for school board, city council, or other elected positions. And it's even about volunteering when and where you can to make communities stronger and healthier. Kansas is filled with opportunities to support our neighbors and engage in our communities. Using this census data, we can sort out the possibilities and help shape a more equitable and inclusive future for all.